Hey, welcome back. Today's video is going to give you 5 simple ways to make your spiritual journey easier, especially as a highly ADHD person. I find that with this spiritual journey, we quite often use our ADHD as an excuse to have more struggles than we need to have. So I'm going to give you 5 things that you can do to make this journey more enjoyable, because your spiritual growth should be enjoyable. There are things about this journey that are tough and that, quite frankly, are warrior times. But in general, being on a spiritual path should be an absolute joy. So here we go. My name's Emma, and I help people to own their lives. Let's get into the 5 things. Number 1, morning practice. Now, as an absolute night owl, I prefer to do all of my creative things at night. I do a lot of things at night. However, to set yourself up for the day and to set the intention and to smash that intention by doing your spiritual practice first thing in the morning, you are going to make your life so much easier for so many reasons. Doesn't matter what time you get up. I don't get up till 9:30 in the morning because I am a night owl, and I spent 20 years trying to fight that and thinking I wasn't as spiritual if I didn't get up at 5 a.m. and watch the sunrise. I've realized I was putting limitations onto my own spiritual journey that I did not need to put on. And right now, what works for me is getting up at 9:30. You need to do what works for you in the morning, but do your practice first thing. Make it a priority. So you might have decided that you're going to do 5 minutes of meditation every day as part of your practice. Do it first thing. If you need to brush your teeth, have a shower, have a cup of tea before you can even contemplate these things, that's fine. But as someone with ADHD, I'm sure you appreciate that if you don't do this straight away, all that's going to happen is it's going to be on your never-ending list of things to do that is going to get added to constantly throughout the day, because we have so many things that we want to do, and it's a real struggle to prioritize things with ADHD. So make it a commitment to yourself that you will do your spiritual practice first thing, whatever first thing is to you. Get it done, get it out of the way. It will also set your day up so much more gracefully. And then you might end up being more spiritual throughout your day and more mindful and more aware because you did that practice first thing. But one thing I can promise you is you won't be going through your day frustrated that you haven't had that done. You won't get to the end of the day and either feel like you need to shoehorn it in when you have no energy because you're burnt out, or feel like you have somehow lost because you haven't achieved it. And we don't want that. As ADHD people, we like to achieve things. It gives us a great hit of dopamine, which our brains need. So get it done first thing in the morning. Number 2, you might struggle with motivation. You might start finding other things to do because we're great at focusing on so many things. We're great at being very passionate and very energetic about many things at once. And if you start to struggle with motivation, this is something that I put into all of my coaching sessions. In fact, is the foundation of coaching, if I'm honest, is think about why you're doing it. What is your goal? And not simplistically, really think about how that impacts you emotionally. So you might say, I am creating a spiritual path for myself because I want to feel more peaceful or more understanding of my life or more in control. Go deeper than that. Why do you want to feel more in control? I'm creating this spiritual path for myself because I want to feel more in control because I've had an abusive relationship and I don't ever want to feel like that again. And this is my time to change. Or I am consciously on my spiritual path and I am doing XYZ as part of my spiritual practice because I want to feel more peaceful, because that will make me feel more at ease in my life and I will have less anxiety and therefore be able to navigate this world in an easier way. So think about why you're doing it. Keep that at the forefront of your mind. Little trick, this works for anything. This is a coaching groundwork piece. Think about why you want to achieve the thing you want to achieve, whether it's mindful, spiritual or not. If you're struggling with motivation, think about why do you want to achieve it? What are you going to feel after you have achieved it? And then hold on to that. Number 3, wanting to quit, finding excuses, being distracted. And a key ADHD thing is getting to a certain point where you feel like you've got pretty good at the thing. So maybe you've decided to do meditation as your spiritual practice. Maybe it's yoga. Maybe it's reading a book. Maybe it's sitting with yourself in quiet. Maybe it's taking a cold shower. Maybe you've got quite good at it and you feel like you're not really getting the results you want. It's kind of gone a bit flat. As ADHD people, we're not great at sitting in that flat zone. We like the spikes. because it creates the chemicals in our brain that make us feel at peace. Now, you have to understand your ADHD brain. Your ADHD brain likes the dopamine spikes. It likes things to be a little bit extreme. But also, you have to remember and be aware that most resistance happens when you're about to have the biggest breakthrough. So the saying, "it's always darkest before the dawn," is very appropriate here. So when you're feeling like you're a little bit bored of something, or you're looking for a different practice to get into, the chances are really high that if you actually push through and focus, you're actually going to have a really big breakthrough, and you're going to achieve the feeling in your brain that your brain is looking for. But more importantly, you're going to evolve in your spiritual journey. So keep going and push through it, and praise yourself for pushing through it. Number 4 is kind of the flip side of that. And again, is a real typical ADHD thing, and that is speeding through it. So let's say you've joined a community and there's several courses on the community. And instead of doing just one course, one lesson a day, you think, well, I'm going to do a bit of this, and I'm going to do a bit of this, and a bit of this, all on the same day at the same time, because it will speed things up. And because I can, because I have ADHD and I can take on board all these things at once, and I can be really enthusiastic about them all. But what you're going to do is you're going to burn yourself out. It's a really tricky thing to navigate with ADHD. Slowing down doesn't feel natural to us, doesn't feel normal, unless we're burnt out, at which point it's too late. It's like when you're thirsty, it's too late. You're already dehydrated. When you're burnt out, it's too late. So what you need to do is create a goal for yourself to slow down and allow hitting that goal of doing things methodically, a little bit at a time. Allow the achieving of that goal to be your dopamine hit. So slow down, do one thing at a time. Micro learning is fantastic, and actually constant imperfect action is better than constant perfect action that you can't sustain. So the thing that you can sustain for the longest period of time is what's actually going to give you the biggest growth. Number 5, tripping out, zoning out, losing consciousness, losing awareness, feeling kind of bored, spacey. All of these things happening when you are doing your practice, whether it's meditation, whether it's yoga, whether it's reading or sitting by yourself. It's very easy to think, I'm falling asleep, therefore this isn't working. That isn't true. As part of the spiritual journey, you are trying to consciously make more of your unconscious awareness conscious. So while you're doing your spiritual practice, if you are becoming unconscious, or you are kind of veering into a state of unconsciousness or zoning out or daydreaming, then actually what you're doing is working. It's right, you've got it, keep going, because that means that your unconscious states of being are slowly being brought into your conscious awareness. It's fantastic, you're doing great, don't stop, keep going. Okay, so the 5 things that will make a difference to you. Do your practice in the morning. For motivation, remember why you're doing it. What are the feelings you're going to get when you achieve it? Wanting to quit, remember resistance very often happens right before a breakthrough, so keep going. Trying to do too many things at once, woo, ADHD. Remember, achieving things over a long period of time is the goal. Allow that to be the thing that you achieve every day to give yourself the dopamine hit. Number 5, tripping out, becoming unconscious, zoning out during your practice. Embrace it, lean into it. It means what you're doing is working. Everything is fine, you're on track. If you have got any tips for being ADHD and being on this spiritual journey and making the 2 things work together, or tips for spiritual growth in general, share them. Being part of this community and being able to talk to each other and share wisdom with each other is just such a gift. As always, have the very best day.